Hey, tell us about who Jonny Riggs is.
Yeah, so I'm a worship pastor in England. I've been working for a vineyard church here for 10 years. So I've been heavily involved with the local church and some other movements. I'm involved with a worship festival over here called David's Tent. And yeah, just I've been involved with the local church for a long time. Um, but more recently been doing a lot more writing. I kind of gone part-time to pursue um, yeah, I guess the more wide-reaching kind of call that I'm sensing. So I've done a lot of writing for the Vineyard Movement, some songs for them, but I've just been recently, uh, yeah, investing in kind of teams, worship teams around the UK, and doing some writing and kind of making music with friends. So yeah, that's kind of my landscape at the moment. But I'm yeah based on the south coast in Bournemouth. I live in a kind of communal living kind of space. So we've got kids running around. We've got lots of stuff going on. So yeah, that's kind of my spot.
Never a dull moment, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's busy.
Hey, so here in Canada, and I know in the States as well, we're hearing news about how the worship movement in the UK
Mm.
is changing and evolving. Talk to us about what you see there on the ground in the UK.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think I've been heavily involved with worship on a broad scale for the last 10 years. And I think one of the biggest things I've seen more recently is, uh, especially for people that are involved with music, with worship, with teams and churches, is the desire to work together, to be generous, especially independent kind of artists, musicians to share. Like a lot of my music that I've written recently and made recently has been with people that are, giving away their gifts, giving away their talents. And I don't know, at the moment, I'm seeing so many friends release music that's beautiful and a really generous kind of heart posture to that. So in terms of like the creative side, um, I've seen kind of what I guess what you would hope, what you would expect is creatives coming together as friends, creating from friendship before, anything else. But I think in the church we've also seen like the growth of worship. Um, I don't know, 10 years ago you might think something of an extended time of worship would be uh more rare, but like, I'm constantly hearing of worship nights, nights of worship, days of worship, days on end. I just heard of another festival in the Netherlands that was, I think, 5 days non-stop, kind of day and night.
Seriously.
Yeah, so and I'm involved with this thing called David's Tent, which is 3 days, 72 hours non-stop. And so I think just seeing a growth of people wanting to get together to worship and that becoming more commonplace for extended periods of time, which is really beautiful and not necessarily, in the big churches with the most pull, but in small local churches throughout parishes across the UK. So yeah, it's really beautiful. I love what God's doing.
So encouraging, and we've been talking about that for years. We
Mhm.
hope to see that come about in Europe, right? I love that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your own journey to become a worship leader and an artist and a songwriter. I believe you're in education for a period of time.
Yeah. So I left school and I did a kind of a gap year with a church. And in that time, well, actually, like before that, my introduction with worship is a funny one because I wasn't a musician, I wasn't a singer. Growing up as a teenager, I hadn't started any of that. But I had picked up a bit of casual drums, and we went on a family mission trip to Uganda, and I came back with a little djembe, and we were on a church. Weekend away and they asked me to kind of tap along. So that was my first introduction into kind of worship times with me participating, and I think I was 16, 17. And we were in a time of worship, and I kind of just had a song pop into my head, which was, I guess, unusual. So I kind of leaned over to my youth pastor at the time, and I was like, "Hey, I've got this song in my head." And he stood up, and he just said to the church, "Hey, Johnny's gonna sing a song for you."
No kidding.
And yeah, right. So kind of fight or flight in that moment, and what teenage boy wants to get up and start singing? I don't know. But
Wow.
I wouldn't have known that I'd sung, and I had a really pivotal, like powerful encounter with God, and that kind of set a trajectory where I really felt like God had kind of picked me up and placed me where He'd want me, and then that kind of hit fast forward for the next kind of 10 plus years. And so, yeah, I went on to do a gap year. I served at an Anglican church, doing all sorts of stuff. And then during that course of time, I decided not to go to university, but to pursue worship, whatever that meant at that time. I didn't see a whole load. I didn't know a load of worship pastors. I didn't see it so commonplace as it is now. But I guess I just felt, whatever this is, I want to do that. And so I did a bunch of stuff. I started off 1 day a week at my church. Well, I interned for a few years, and I got a job 1 day a week. And then I was in education as like a teaching assistant. I did a bit of youth work, a bit of kind of coffee work on the side, and progressively moved those. Um, days up to be full time with the church. And then I'm actually kind of in a bit of a role reversal at the moment. So I went part time from full time to do some more writing, be free to kind of explore more creative pursuits alongside working with the local church. But I've also just resigned recently in the last kind of 2 weeks. So I've worked 10 years for this church, and I kind of sense the call to move into something new. So I'm I'm weighing that's kind of fresh at the moment, but I'm definitely feeling the call a little bit more into music writing and creating with other people. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but yeah, that's been a bit of the journey over the last kind of 10, 15 years.
That's fascinating, and so many similarities with other artists that walk down that same path. Uh,
Mm.
chance that we could see you in concert anywhere, anytime soon?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm growing and learning what I'm like as an artist. I definitely more identify as a worship leader. Most of my experience is live leading worship, and I'm growing in kind of artistry, and so I'm kind of straddling these dual worlds of a massive heart for the church and live leading worship, which I think is a slightly different um, arena, and then the artistry side of writing songs and um, telling a story. And so at the moment, I'm doing a lot of worship leading conferences, that kind of thing. But I'm definitely open to kind of exploring. I mean, my EP is coming out in a few weeks now. We're exploring what would a kind of launch night look like.
Yeah,
But at the moment, all of the eggs are in the worship leading sphere, and kind of less in the kind of gig sphere at the moment.
got it. Well, we'd love to have you here in Canada if that opportunity ever comes up. I love your sound. You bring an authenticity and a depth that I think some of the traditional Nashville music doesn't have. And so I know we love playing your music on Worship Road Radio, and I can't wait to hear what else you have coming. Can you give us a glimpse of your writing and what you have coming out in the near future or next year?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm in the kind of a wave of releases at the moment. So No One Else was the first single from my debut EP. The second one is called Where Else Would I Go, and that comes out on Friday.
Ah,
And then the full EP comes out on November 14th. So that'll be there. Yeah, I've really loved making it. I've worked with an amazing producer. But I feel like I've had this kind of journey of I've written a bunch, but it's taken me a while to kind of go the artist route and put some stuff up myself. So I guess you know how some you might describe it as like overcooked rather than like undercooked. I feel like I'm at the stage where I've just put stuff out, but I have so much like backlogged ready to go. So I have a few singles kind of already recorded, ready to roll. So hopefully in the new year, there'll be some more releases. But I'm just really excited. I'm loving making music. I'm really wanting to kind of release as much as I can at the moment because it seems to be like a fruitful time, but definitely exploring different sounds and kind of different expressions.
Yeah, so November 14th, right? That's the day.
November 14th, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I know that we'll be getting that EP here and we will certainly be playing it. So, last
No,
question as
thanks.
we wrap up. Breakout Magazine specifically looks and features emerging and indie artists. And as an
Mm,
emerging artist yourself, I know that there's readers that find themselves in a position that was probably a few years earlier than where you are now. What kind of advice would you give,
mm,
Johnny? What kind of encouragement or advice would you give them based on your own path?
yeah. Community is your biggest gift. I think for me, making music has been, you know, we've done it together. So I've loved co-writing and I've loved taking these songs or ideas or like ideas of ideas to friends and saying, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And so I think if you can kind of brave it and embrace the bravery of sharing your ideas, and then go. But for me, this has been as much as it's a cathartic tool of self-expression and yeah, wanting to kind of honor God with that journey. Like it's also been a journey of connection with friends and getting to enjoy yeah, the process, every step of the process with different people who are adding something to make, you know, you start off with your bit and people add a few different bits and you end up with this beautiful new entity that you didn't have at the start. And so, yeah, the definite encouragement would be first off, just like carry on going, enjoy it, like write as much as you can, create as much as you can. Don't put any kind of boundaries on it, but then make sure you share it. Just find some friends that you can start that journey with and see where you end up.
You know, I love that. You mentioned boundaries, and I think that so much of Christian music has been encumbered by formulas. And when you
Mm,
hear your music, Johnny, you can tell immediately it's from the heart and it's out, it doesn't have those boundaries. It's a true expression that I think our listeners are going to love to hear. So, hey, listen, thanks so much for your time. We will definitely be watching on November 14th. And I'm so pleased that you're going to be in our November issue for Breakout Magazine. Can't wait to hear more from what you have around the corner, Johnny.
yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.